Hi everyone. So, I know this video is a little late, and I was supposed to do my fall fashion lookbook with Julia, but it just seems like the topic of the paranormal is more pressing and a little bit more interesting, so I thought I would do this video first. I can already tell this is going to be a long video. I might do this in 2 parts, but if not, you might want to grab some tea or some snacks, because I can already tell this is going to be a really long video anyway. Okay, where do I start? Let me just preface this by saying I wouldn't lie to you about this. If you don't believe in the paranormal, that's fine, but I didn't either. But when you see something that goes against your view of the world, you kind of have to amend that viewpoint to match the evidence that you've seen. So, lying to you really wouldn't benefit my life in any way. So, take this however you will. I think I'll start with my own experiences because they're nothing compared to my uncle's story, which is a really difficult story for me to tell, but I wanted to do it anyway. And that'll come later. So, just my experiences. Where do I start? I've had a few. So the first experience I had was when I was 15 years old, and I was laying in this bed here, and my door's right there, and then stairs are right outside my door. So I kind of just got like this eerie feeling all of a sudden. I was laying there trying to go to sleep, and my door was open, and I see this apparition of this kid walk up my stairs, turn the corner, walk along the banister, and disappear. And I was terrified. The reason I know it was an apparition was because I couldn't see his whole body, but I could make out the features, the distinct features of maybe an African American boy ages 9 to 12. And so I was terrified, and I just sat frozen in fear on my bed for the rest of the night, and I couldn't go back to sleep, or I couldn't go to sleep. So, a couple days later, I'm walking around my neighborhood, and my neighborhood is very historic, so there's a lot of history here. And I came across this elderly gentleman, and we started talking, and he was like, "Oh, where do you live?" And I said, "I live at that big house on the corner of X and Y." And he said, "Oh, you live in the house that used to be the headquarters for the Black Panthers." And I was like, "What? Excuse me?" He's like, "Yeah, that used to be the headquarters, the Black Panthers headquarters of Sacramento." Now keep in mind, I still had this image of this boy in my head. It was weighing on me for days after that. So I said, "Were there any children in the house?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, they used to have kids over there all the time. One of them actually died." And he's like, "Yeah, he was about, 10 years old, and he was the son of the guy in charge. I suppose you call him commander or general. I'm not sure." And I said, "Oh, really, how did he die?" And he said he choked on some marbles and died. And right there, I was so scared, because in my house, we'll be digging in the backyard, and we come across hundreds of marbles everywhere, different sizes and colors, and I'll probably insert a picture just to show some of the marbles that we found. And so I could not believe that. That was really creepy. And I'll get people who say, "Isn't it because you were tired? Maybe your eyes were messing with you." This can all be rationally explained somehow, insert rational explanation. And no. Because I still haven't forgotten that memory. It stayed with me for, how old am I now, 20? Oh, getting old. Yeah, but it stayed with me, and I just remember such a feeling of terror. That expression, "It looks like you've just seen a ghost." That's how I felt. I was so terrified. And then the whole story about the marbles and the Black Panthers headquarters was just really amazing, how that all kind of tied together. If not, then it's a pretty impressive coincidence. So, I have not seen that apparition since, and yep, that was the only time. So, let's see, what other experiences have I had? Um, okay. There was another time where I was sitting in my backyard, and it was dusk, and I was probably just doing some homework because it was a nice day. And there was a tree right next to me, and an entire flock of birds in the tree, just twittering away. And then all of a sudden, the hairs on the back of my neck stood up, and I thought, okay, that's a bit odd. And then before I could process that feeling, I heard this growl right in my ear, and as soon as that happened, the birds just flew away. Now, there was no dog around, because that was my first rationalization was, oh my gosh, there's a dog around here somewhere. There was no dog. Even if there were a dog, my dog Charlie he's a Bichon Frise, so he's super short and he doesn't growl. And he was nowhere in the vicinity. And the oddest thing about that struck me was the fact that it was right in my ear. And then I got that kind of creepy sense before it even happened. And then, of course, the birds flying away. I thought that was really interesting. That has not happened to me since, but that was pretty scary. Some other strange things. My kitten Harry, who is sleeping right here. Hey Harry. Harry, they love you. So he sleeps in my room, and when he does, every morning, because I have such strange sleeping hours, he'll be fast asleep, and then usually 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, he'll wake up all of a sudden, and his eyes will dilate like he's looking at something. And I'll let you go back to sleep before I continue. So his eyes will dilate like he's looking at something, and I don't know if this will be in shot, but I have very odd corners in my room. They're not really corners. But he'll wake up 3 or 2 o'clock, he'll look up in that corner, and he'll slowly move his eyes to that corner, and then he'll slowly move his eyes backwards, and he'll keep doing that for like 20 minutes. Now, I thought, okay, there's a spider in my room, there's a moth, there's a shadow that he's watching, because he does love to chase shadows, but my curtains were completely closed. It was dark. I had my phone, as you do when you're, oh, excuse me, how tacky of me. I had my phone, as you do, checking things before you go to sleep. So there were no shadows. And it's odd that he wakes up at a very specific time, and his attention span is so limited because he's a kitten and he always wants to play. And the fact that he'll sit there and move his eyes back and forth for 20 minutes it's really eerie. So this one night, this actually didn't happen that long ago, 2, 3 in the morning, I think it was closer to 3 o'clock, sitting there trying to go to sleep, he wakes up, he's looking at that corner, and I just got such an eerie feeling. So I couldn't explain it, so I just felt scared. So I went and I slept downstairs on my couch. And I'm laying on the couch, I'm trying to go to sleep, still feel, I've got the heebie-jeebies, if you will. So, laying on the couch trying to go to sleep, I have a basement, and so, basement floor couch. Directly underneath the couch where I'm trying to sleep, I hear this knock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And, we do get rats and squirrels in the basement during the colder months. They do nest there. But it just was such a distinct knock, and it had such intention to it. So I was like, alright, that's a bit weird. 10 seconds later, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's with such force that I can feel the reverberation of the impact through the floor and onto the couch where I'm laying. 10 seconds later, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So at this point, I'm getting kind of scared. I just try to, rationalize it. It's rats. I don't know. Maybe they have a very methodical way of picking away at our floorboards. So, just kind of blew it off. And then, because the couch is right against the wall, All of a sudden, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the wall next to me. 10 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm like, alright. Okay, alright. No, this is fine. They're probably just in the walls exploring, it's a whole new world. Want to get to know the area and infest our house. So I thought nothing of it. And then, to top it all off, the window right next to the couch, I hear this tapping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it was a total of 6 series of knocking, 6 times, which I think is very, it's just too intelligent for a rat or a squirrel. And the fact that it was also on the window, if you can explain this to me, go ahead. I've thought of pretty much everything. So I decided to take a few pictures, and keep in mind that it's pitch black. I can't see anything because I can't sleep with lights on. So it's completely dark, and I snapped a picture, and I'll insert it. And if you can see, maybe around the middle of the frame, you can see a little orb of light, and then up in I think the left-hand corner of the photo, you can also see another little orb of light. And is it dust? I don't think so. They seem too big to be dust specks. There's no reflection. I was thinking, okay, it might have been the flash against some kind of glass. So I wanted to take another one to make sure. So I took another one, and it came out blurry. So I took another one, and it came out blurry. So I shut off my phone, turned it back on, restarted it, had the flash on, tapped the screen to make sure it focused, and it just got worse. Nothing I could do would get this camera to focus. So I just stopped, I gave up, and I tried to go to sleep that night, and it was just creepy. So so far those have been my experiences, I think. I'm hoping to join a paranormal investigators team here in Sacramento because this kind of stuff just fascinates me. Because it's difficult to explain, when paranormal things happen, what is it? Is it energy? Is there some kind of, undiscovered fifth force of the universe that we just don't know about yet? I'm not sure. So if you have any paranormal experiences, I'd really like to hear them. Huge fan of Paranormal Witness, Ghost Hunters, The Haunted, or A Haunting, Ghost Adventures. It's okay. Yeah, I really do. I'm intrigued, so I think I'm gonna chase that feeling. Really good episode of Paranormal Witness would be The Rain Man and The Man in the Attic, because they have some very specific similarities to my uncle's story.